Nigel Gresley's A1 Pacifics were perhaps some of the most iconic and innovative engines to ever run in Britain. Not only were they the first to officially break the 100-mile-an-hour speed record, but managed to pull non-stop services from one end of the country to the other. This video isn't going to be about their history, shortcomings or legacy, however, but an often overlooked, sillier aspect of their careers: their names. The first of the Gresley A1s was built in 1922, named Great Northern after the railway company that commissioned it. The grouping in 1923 saw the formation of the London North Eastern Railway, which ultimately went on to produce the rest of the class. And by 1925, 52 engines were in service pulling express trains up and down the network. By then, however, only 8 of these engines had names, something that was quite unusual for express engines. So the question arose, what would these engines be named after? Traditionally, engines were named after places served by the railway, politicians, nobility and railway directors, usually with one of these categories being associated with a specific class of locomotive. The Great Western Railway, for example, named some classes of their engines after granges, halls and castles. So what theme did the LNER choose? At first, the names were fairly tame, with the first 3 engines of the class being called Great Northern, Sir Frederick Banbury and Flying Scotsman, the name of the railway company that first built the engines, a chairman of said company, and the name of their flagship express service. The Great Northern Railway theme, however, was seemingly dropped quite quickly, and the names chosen instead were certainly a strange and unhinged assortment. They were Solario, Victor Wilde, Flying Fox, Royal Lancer, Gay Crusader, Hermit, Robert the Devil, Enterprise, St. Simon, Melton, Lemberg, Diamond Jubilee, Donovan, Doncaster, Galty Moor, Persimmon, Blink Bonnie, Prince Palatine, Sansovino, Manor, Woolwinder, Centenary, Ormond, Blair Athol, Tracery, The Tetrarch, Pretty Polly, Minaru, Isinglass, Taggally, Knight of the Thistle, Merryhampton, Ladass, Sir Visto, Scepter, Gladiator, Tranquil, Sunstar, St. Gatian, Harvester, St. Fruscan, Gallopin, The White Knight, Nighthawk, Bayardo, Dick Turpin, Shotover, Neil Gow, Sir Hugo, Felstead, Grand Parade, Captain Cuttle, Fairway, Coronach, Colorado, Flamingo, Papyrus, Humorist, Spion Cop, Trigo, Gainsborough, Blenheim, Book Law, Callboy, Spearmint, Cicero, Windsor Lad, Colombo, Hyperion, Fidalsi, Cameronian, Salmon Trout, Brown Jack, and my personal favourite, Sandwich. Quite a surreal selection of names, but these weren't just randomly picked nonsense. They were the names of thoroughbred racehorses, with the exception of Centenary and Dick Turpin. The strange naming convention also seemingly applied to the rest of the LNER's Pacifics too, as the Peppercorn A1s received a real mixed bag of names, from horses to Scottish poems to railway engineers to birds to castles. The names of the A4s was also quite a mixed bunch, starting off with a silver theme with Silverlink, Quicksilver, Silver King and Silver Fox. This motif was dropped in favour of birds, such as Falcon, Sea Eagle and of course Mallard. And then out of nowhere, several had their names changed to British Commonwealth countries such as Dominion of Canada, and some were just given the names of people. What's strange, however, is that the rest of the LNER's fleet had relatively consistent and otherwise normal names and naming conventions. It just seems that for whatever reason, they were very happy-go-lucky with what they named their Pacifics. Yes, the Gresley A1s were consistently named after racehorses, but you tell me that nobody in the drawing office was at least giggling a little bit at the prospect of naming some of these incredible express machines things like Pretty Polly, Callboy or Sandwich. Were they the strangest names ever given to steam locomotives? Far from it. Please comment below some of the strangest names you've seen given to a locomotive, and I may make another video like this going over them. For now, let the A1s be a reminder that your name is never what defines your success, but a silly name will help make it that bit more memorable. Subscribe for more.